Took me a minute to find the volume there. Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation and the world. Welcome to Popeye Live, where we talk about events of the day, the week, the month, the year. And let me show you something right off the bat. Let me put this up in a cube. And it was an amazing day today. Absolutely amazing. First of all, let me say this. The potato head, and you know who we're talking about, he's out there trying to take credit for anything and everything. And, you know, when something happens, he comes on live and starts trying to run his mouth in a coherent manner. Now, let me play you this and see what you think about it. I've got this up in the cube and ready to go. And here we go.
Here's what you can do, the drivers. Don't panic, number one. I know seeing lines at the pumps or gas stations with no gas can be extremely stressful. But this is a temporary situation. Do not get more gas than you need in the next few days. As I said, we expect the situation to begin to improve by the weekend and into early next week, and gasoline supply is coming back online, and panic buying will only slow the process. And I also want to say something to the gas stations. Do not, I repeat, do not try to take advantage of consumers during this time.
Ooh, a badass.
We work with governors in the affected states to put a stop to price gouging wherever it arises. And I'm asking our federal agencies to stand ready to provide assistance to state-level efforts to monitor and address any price gouging at the pump. Nobody should be using this situation for financial gain. That's what the hackers are trying to do. That's what they're about, not us. That's not who we are. And as for the people who carried out this attack, the FBI has released details on the attack so others can take steps to prevent from being victimized like Colonial has been. We do not believe, I emphasize, we do not believe the Russian government was involved in this attack. But we do have strong reason to believe that the criminals who did the attack are living in Russia. That's where it came from. We're from Russia. We have been in direct communications with Moscow about the imperative for responsible countries to take decisive action against these ransomware networks. We're also going to pursue a measure to disrupt their ability to operate. And our Justice Department
There's something he's not mentioning.
Dedicated to prosecuting ransomware hackers to the full extent of the law. And finally, let me say that this event is providing an urgent reminder of why we need to harden our infrastructure and make it more resilient against all threats, natural and man-made.
Well, let me say this. There's a couple of things he didn't mention there. And first, Carl, I have no faith in the FBI or any of those organizations, Homeland Security, any of them. But let me say this. The one thing he did not mention in that is that the Colonial Pipeline paid the ransom. That's the reason they're coming back online, and the potato head knew this yesterday when he was running his mouth then. He knew this. So they panicked and paid the ransom because the potato head and all the Democrats were being blamed for this. Not the Colonial Pipeline, our government, because they haven't handled this situation in all these years. And guess what? The buck stops with whoever the leader of the country is right now. Just as they tried to do with Trump, and just as it should be. As it should be. Did he take decisive action? No. The only thing he's doing is trying to take credit. And now he's threatening the businesses that are in the business of providing you gasoline. Now, each state already has laws about price gouging. And for him to stand up there and make threats at them, and I'm sure there are some people that are gouging, but there are ways to handle that within your state. I know there is here in Texas. And I guarantee you the Attorney General will find out about it fast. That's the truth of it. But let's not stop there. Let's not stop there. Because the CDC today made another change in the guidelines on the mask. Oh, yes, they did. And now they're saying that just after a week of telling everybody to wear their mask no matter what, now they changed course 180 degrees. Yep. If you've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you do not have to wear the mask anywhere. Anywhere. So now they've decided that wearing the mask sends a signal that the vaccines don't work. So why go get it? And many people in this country are not going to get it. 40% of the Marines in the Marine Corps, young Marines, are saying they're not going to get it. So just think about this. So he goes on, after the CDC makes this announcement today, he goes on an hour or two later and makes the same announcement, as if he had something to do with it. And in reality, he has nothing to do with anything when it comes to the vaccines. Nothing. That credit goes to Donald Trump. That's who that goes. If there's any credit to be had, that's who it goes to, and Operation Warp Speed and the people that made that happen. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Dr. Fauci here in a few minutes, who I think is going to be maybe in deep, deep trouble. Him and the NIH. But let's move on to some other stuff. Biker news. Our bill got its third reading on the Texas House floor this morning, and it passed. I think it was like 120 to 22. It passed. So now it moves on from there to a Senate committee where it will go through the same process. It will be voted on twice. And so, yeah, there will be a call to action for all you Texas bikers, probably tomorrow, to call your Senate representatives, state Senate representatives, and ask them to support bill number 1838. And yes, I had a typo where I had it backwards on some of the videos and stuff we put out on it. But sorry about that. It happens. And so be ready, everybody. And you might want to get an early jump on it tonight and just send them an email. Get it done. Contact your state senator and ask them to support the bill HB 1838, having to do with the gang database. And you guys know how I feel about that. That's one of the most important bills that we put forward yet. And we got some more out there we got to deal with, but hey, this is what is going through the House right now. And so we'll see if our other bills have a chance. So that's good news for bikers everywhere, and also the citizens, because as you've heard me say, anyone can be put into a gang database, and you won't even know it. You won't even know it unless you go check. Now here in Texas, we do have several places where you can check to see if you're in the gang database. One would be the Texas COCI website, and also at TexasBikerRadio.org, on the front page, you can go there and check to see if you're in the gang database. And let me say this, if you're going to check to see if you're in a gang database, that will not get you put in it. And we better not find out that it does. Because we would be ready to take civil action. You better not get put into a gang database because you've checked to see if you're in it. And that's the truth of it. Now, wow. Hey, you guys are on the chat line. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And make sure to like, share our videos, and, join, subscribe. Subscribe. I know I don't have our subscribe. Oh, yeah, I do. I have it up there. For some reason, I'm not seeing it on our live feed, but I'm seeing it here in studio. Incredible. Incredible. Okay. Hey, man, isn't it odd? In the first 100 days, the Potato Head and crew has more fires than they can handle. Oh, yeah, there's fires everywhere. And, they're always on the defensive. Right now, they're on the defensive. That's the reason the Potato Head comes on the tube multiple times a day. I mean, he and they're, like I said, they're always on the defensive. He's continuously explaining why these things are happening. He's defending the border, and they're claiming the borders are closed. The borders are closed, yet the honest media out there will show us that they're walking across, they're coming on in hundreds and thousands at a time. So he's always, I mean, what do they think we are? Idiots? Idiots? We know what we see, but they keep telling us what we're seeing is not happening. It's not happening. And then the other day they're defending the poor jobs numbers. Biden says, I don't see it. He doesn't get it. It's not happening. He's trying to convince us it's not happening. And then they're defending higher taxes. They're saying it's for the rich, but let me tell you, that will not handle what they're wanting to do. They're eventually going to get down to us. Oh, yeah. And even us on Social Security, where we have a fixed income. I mean, Hillary Clinton thought anybody making over $33,000 a year was in the rich category. That's the truth of it. So, defending what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, they immediately lifted the embargo on money going to the Palestinians and the terrorists. So he started funneling money to them. And now the people on that side of the fence, the terrorists, they think, well, heck, we've got a supporter. So there's hundreds and thousands of rockets coming into Israel. Now, over the last 24 hours, I do think that's slowed up. I've been watching a live feed of the Gaza Strip. I haven't seen much going on there in the way of bombs and stuff. A couple of nights ago there was, but I haven't seen it lately. And of course, they're defending inflation. Now, the feds are not going to increase interest rates, which is the thing they should do to guard against inflation. But they're not going to do that. But yeah, we know any mom out there that's buying groceries right now knows that there's inflation. If you're going to be building a house soon or adding on to your house, you're going to find out. And we're going to find out at the prices of our cars and other things, because it's all going to go up. You can't keep from it, because these people don't know what they're doing. You know, it was crazy with the Colonial Pipeline when Biden went out there and said, well, we're not going to do nothing about it. It's not our job. It's a private company, and so it's up to them. Really. So we can expect more of this now that we know that the Colonial Pipeline did pay them some ransom. Whether it was a total amount they wanted, who knows? Who knows? Of course, well, early on we saw them defend the shutting down the Keystone Pipeline and eliminating about 15,000 jobs within with the signature. And what did they say? What did the energy secretary say? Well, you can go out there and get you another job. And just like one of his administrative personnel said today, I think it was the energy secretary said, well, get you an electric car. If you have an electric car, you don't have to worry about it. I'm not too sure that's true. But this is the road we're on. This is the road we're going down. And the potato head there's going to be fire after fire after fire after fire, because this is their plan. This is their plan to destroy our economy. This is what they want. And also, while they're at it, destroy our constitutional rights. That's what they're after. They want total power forever. And like we talked about the other night, H.R. 1, that needs to be defeated. You need, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you need to be against this. Because it's about the sanctity of the vote. It's about our Constitution. It's about hanging on to our republic. That's what it's all about. It's not about this pie in the sky stuff that liberals are wanting to do. And you know, there was a definite mismanagement with the China virus. Like we said, Joe Biden out there trying to take credit for this. Now, if he wants credit for everything, he's got to take credit for the failures too. And I do think one failure is the mismanagement of the messages coming from the CDC, because they've been all over the place. It was just last week that they said, hey, you need to wear this no matter what, whether you've been fully vaccinated or what. And now they're going 180 and tell you, well, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't need to do it. But what we have coming from Mr. Fauci, and I'm not going to call him doctor anymore, because he is not an MD. He's not an MD. But what he's been is a virologist, and he's been with the NIH for a long, long time. He's been the top guy for a long, long time. And there's plenty of people out there that don't like him, including the HIV community. They got a lot of bad things to say about him. But let me say this, the most recent information on Dr. Fauci's involvement with the Wuhan lab and the NIH that Rand Paul talked about. If you saw it on our website with the China virus survivors Facebook page, it's what it's called, the China virus Facebook page, we posted that conversation that Rand Paul had with Dr. Fauci. And he took him to task over he and the NIH's involvement in getting money, funneling money to the Wuhan lab to study the virus and to weaponize it. And that's what I call it. That's the word I'm throwing on it. They were busy weaponizing a virus that was in animals to make it spread human to human. And this is what I understand. Now, it's illegal, from what I've heard, it is illegal, and Rand Paul touched on this, for any lab in the United States to do that. So I guess they had to go to China to figure out how to weaponize this virus. There's no other reason to do it. There's no other reason to do it. It's mind-boggling that anyone would do this. I don't give a damn if he is a scientist. I don't care. And you know, talking about defending Biden and the Democrats, are always out there defending the corrupt government. Always out there doing it. You know, it's like we've been saying here the past few nights. You know, when did it become acceptable to lie all the time? Because if their mouths are moving, whether it be the potato head or the media or many left-wing groups, if their mouths are moving, movie stars, TV personalities, you name it, they lie all the time. According to them, we can never be right, and we are ignorant. They try to tell us that the things we see are not what we see. It's incredible, everybody. But you know, it's like I said, they're busy attacking certain groups. Anybody that questions them, you know, like the 2020 election audit that's going on. I mean, what is it they have to hide? If they won this thing fair and square, what is it they got to hide? Just what is it? We need to ask that question again and again and again. And Randy, they did it to you again, buddy. I had to make that out. I guess they're guessing now what you're texting. But you know, hey, they're constantly attacking Trump. That's still going on 24/7. They want to blame everything on him, even this pipeline mess. You know, I mean, come on. He did a lot of great things in 4 years, more in 4 years than I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I've seen since Eisenhower. Now, when Eisenhower was president, I was too young to know what was going on, but I think I saw him on television a couple of times. You know, if you're questioning their agenda, they go insane. They go insane. And you know, they're constantly, too, attacking the Constitution. You're telling us it's a living, breathing document. No, it's not. It's as written. It is the supreme law of the land, and they are ignoring it. And that includes our Supreme Court. That includes law enforcement. The list runs on and on and on. And we shouldn't put up with it. We shouldn't put up with it. But you know what? The people out there, I'm telling you, they're catching on. They're catching on. We are tired of being lied to, tired of being lectured by left-wing groups in the governments, unions, corporations, media, TV personalities, government entities, and so on and so on. We're sick and tired of it. We're tired of dishonest government at all levels, law enforcement, FBI, CIA, DHS, DEA, ATF, and the list runs on and on and on. Just think, I heard it yesterday on the House floor. Here in Texas, there are 2,500. Let me say that again. There are 2,500 law enforcement entities in this state. In this state. That is mind-boggling, everybody. And all the time, they're whining for more. More money, more equipment, more. It's incredible. It's incredible. And they get what they want. Until here recently. You know, it was OG and I called out years ago, that law enforcement was going to get in trouble for the way they're treating people. And you know what? That happened with George Floyd, especially the black community who has had it. Now, should they be doing what they're doing, rioting in the streets, the BLM, and they're nothing but a money machine? Should they be doing what they're doing? No. Should George Floyd have died? No. But you know what? We've seen this again and again and again, and it's not just black people this happens to. It's not. And that's the truth of it. Whether you want to ignore that's up to you and your conscience. But I can tell you, over the years, we've seen enough bad apples and enough lying and enough cover-up to know that something's wrong and the courts are crooked and the courts are not fair. There is not an equal playing field, and bikers and other citizens are denied due process all the time. And you know, with this bill over the gang database, and really that's all we're asking. Don't be so secretive and, give us due process. Follow the Constitution. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like I said, we're tired of the cheating and the lying and everything else that goes on. I mean, we know what we saw in this last election cycle. I mean, think about it. The White House, when reporters go there, the White House demands pre-approval of reporters' quotes. Oh, yeah. Pre-approval of their quotes before publishing. So, isn't that censorship? The Potato Heads administration promised transparency. That's what he promised in his campaign. He's forgot most everything that he campaigned on, because his memory's gone. And you know, when I hear and see him, he's a lot like my 93-year-old dad, who does have dementia. I mean, so the White House press corps has to submit their quotes, and it's censorship like in the social media that's happening to us. So maybe the Potato Head administration and the social media groups and those people, maybe they're all doing the same thing. Maybe they're colluding. Just an opinion, or just a question, really. It's been reported that 120 generals and admirals wrote a letter to the Potato Head suggesting he was not legitimately elected, and questioned his mental health. Really? Let's hope they take action soon, as everything in the world spins out of control, because we are displaying weakness. And what you've seen happen over the last 24, 48 hours, it oozes weakness. I just hope they don't all of a sudden try to prove themselves badasses and decide to take everybody on. Wow. So, hey, well, look, they got rid of Liz Cheney, and she wasn't a fit anymore because she did not support the America First agenda, and you know, she was going to try and move them a different direction, the Republicans, and you know, it's not her party to move or her place, so they removed her. We'll see what happens. Ought to be interesting. It'll be interesting. I do think the president needs to start making appearances. I do think it's time for that. He's beginning to talk a little bit more and more, but hey, let's see it. Hey, I agree with you, David. Text it. Yeah. We can move off on our own. Them other states, in blue states, and anybody wants to join us, they can go do what the hell they want and just screw their states up. I mean, that's what they're doing anyway. So, yeah, that's what they're doing anyway. Speaking of that, California, Newsom is attempting to buy off the people in California. He's going to give them a $600 stimulus checks. Compliments of us, by the way. Yeah, because they got stimulus money by the billions from us, from taxpayers in other states. So he's going to pass them out all stimulus checks. He's also going to try and get the homeless off the streets and into hotels in tiny houses. Yeah, those cost $8,000 a pop. But he's saying that they're going to need to spend $75,000 a homeless person to get them off and into a hotel. Wow. And you know, some of the hotels that we've seen them go into, hey, not bad, man. Not bad. I don't know what that hotel is going to look like after a month. Maybe a dump. I wonder if the Newsom is guaranteeing that he's going to fix the hotels after they just trash the hell out of them. Because you've seen how they keep their spaces on the street. Oh, yeah, tents catching on fire because smoking something they shouldn't be smoking. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, I do believe Fauci's going to be in deep trouble. He's going to be in deep trouble. Let's follow this closely, and let's demand an investigation of where that virus came from. We already know, Wuhan. And it did not come from an animal. It came from that lab. Because the probabilities are there. That's where it came from. We need to push for this big time. We need to get behind Rand Paul and others that are saying, hey, this is where it came from, and we need to find out. There is a money trail. There is a paper trail. Fauci cannot deny it, although he is right now. We need to get him under oath, and we need to press hard for the truth, And the CDC has lost a lot of their I'm looking for the word, everybody. They've lost a lot of their gravitas, I guess you'd say. It's the only thing I can think of right now. I know there's another word, but hey, you get up here and do this for a half hour and get it right every time. I'm not a professional broadcaster. That's obvious. But what we are, we're citizens that are asking questions, credibility. You're right, Jerry. Thank you. They've lost a lot of their credibility. That's the truth of it. And wow, but we're like everybody else. We're up here asking questions, and we're seeing that the corruption that's going on out there, and then we saw the CDC all over the place. Since the China virus was released on our country, on the world, China needs to pay, whether it's through tariffs or however else, if they want us to keep buying their crap or our crap that they manufacture. We do have an alternative. Even though it looks like we don't, we can demand these companies come home. And that's what should be happening. But the Bidens, as we all know, are in bed with China. And there's going to be more coming out on Hunter Biden and the mess he's involved in and what he's doing. Let me tell you, these families that have been in politics for decades have honed their craft. They have honed their craft. They keep themselves in office. They leave office filthy rich. Their staffs leave their offices, many times quit after a couple of years, go to work for these mainstream media outlets, write books, do all other kinds of crap. And Jerry, you're right about that. The entire government has lost credibility. And the potato head is at the top right now. At the top. That's what I'm saying. Well, hey, guys, I thought I'd stay on about 10 minutes, and I think I ran over. But with that, everybody, if you don't have a motorcycle, buy one. Doesn't matter your age. And you know, I just recently had a stroke about 2 months ago, a minor one. And I got a stent up here. And the blood's flowing again, or at least sometimes I think it is. But I have been cleared by my doctors to start riding again. I'll slowly increase the miles I ride. But man, did that make me happy when he said that? It surely did. I've been riding motorcycles since I was 8 years old. It's about 60 years. Man, you gotta love it, everybody. You gotta love it. And I do. If you don't have a motorcycle, buy one. Come ride with us. Give us a buzz when you're in town, in the DFW area. Let's have a beer or lunch or something like that. With that, everybody, we'll be meeting a potential new chapter this weekend. Sons of Liberty Riders is growing. And every time we sign on a new chapter, that gives us a little bit more power in order to participate with other motorcycle riders organizations, motorcycle rights organizations. And yes, we are defenders of the Constitution and people who've had their constitutional rights violated. And if you know anyone that has had that kind of experience, give us a buzz, because that is happening every day across this nation, across this state. Good night, everybody. Have a good evening. Ride safe.